Let's look at the first verse. Eternal Father, strong to save, whose arms have bound the restless waves, who bids the mighty ocean deep, its own appointed limits keep. Oh, hear us when we cry to thee, for those in peril on the sea. How do we start? Eternal Father. He is acknowledging God's role as Father, God's role in the first person of the Trinity, which is God for us. And then he talks about God's strength, and he talks about God's ability to limit something as powerful, something as great a force of nature as the ocean. He says that God has appointed limits to the very ocean. Why? Because God is sovereign. Because God is in control. And I know that when we go through our day-to-day lives, it doesn't seem sometimes like God is in control. If you go down to inner city Kansas City and you see the poverty and you see the blight and you see the hopelessness that you see in some people's faces, it might not seem like God is in control. When we look at the fact that rivers are rising and it seems like the rain will never stop, you wonder, is God really in control? When we look at our nation and we see how we're separated over things like politics and culture and race, you say, well, is God really in control? We look at our world and you say, on the holiest of our holy days, Easter, people can go into churches and blow themselves up. Or at a mosque in New Zealand, a man can go in and shoot people while they're worshiping. And you might honestly ask yourself, really, is God in control? And what we have to remember is that, yes, God is in control. There is sin. And sin causes hurt. There is evil. Evil exists in the world, and evil causes pain. But what we also have to remember is that the God that is in control is the same God who sent his son to die on a cross to redeem creation and to allow for us to have an opportunity for salvation. Why is God able to do that? Because he's sovereign. Because he is in control. And so when we look at our first verse here, that's the first thing that the writer's trying to get us to understand, is that this eternal Father, this creator, has the power and the strength to control the forces of nature.